Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we're looking at pregnancy and when you'll have a baby. Exciting stuff. Now we're going to break that question down by having a look at what's going on for you circumstantially. Are you in a relationship? Are you on your own? Did you want to have a baby now? Or is it tomorrow or further down the track? Also, what's been going on with you in terms of your past? Everything that's led you up until this particular point. And most importantly, where's this all going? What's the future forecast for you in terms of a prediction and having a baby? When will that be? So if you would like to go down below before we get started and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got 5 different cards, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly, but just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we've got card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, and card 5. So taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, and the energy of the cards. Which of these cards comes through for you the strongest? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, or card 5? So down below, there are 5 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading now. We are looking today at when you're going to have a baby, so exciting stuff. Cards are on the table. Let's jump on in and have a look and see what's going on here. Now, I'm drawn up here to the Wheel of Fortune and the 6 of Cups. You know, I don't feel that you're gunning to have a child. I don't feel that this is something you're actually really set on. I feel it's kind of like, you know, like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if it happened, it would be really nice. And even then, I feel that in your mind, you're sort of saying, well, if it even happened, then it would also cause, you know, some complications in my life. But, you know, I could get around that. I could work around it in a way where this could be a very lovely experience. So it's kind of double-edged in a way. It's like, yeah, I'd like it to happen. If it happened, it could be more complicated than I had probably anticipated or than I would like to think. But at the same time, you know, the end result would be something that would be really beautiful, and I would be prepared to go with the flow on that. I feel over here with the Hermit and the Queen of Swords, I feel that there is this very long-standing sense of isolation with you in terms of your personality. I think that you're a very private individual who keeps a lot to yourself. I felt that historically speaking, there was pain and suffering here that I felt that you'd carried for a very long time throughout your life, perhaps. I feel that this could go back into childhood, into the way that you were brought up. I get a sense that, you know, this is a person who has learnt to stand on their own 2 feet, you know, who's wised up to a lot of the things that can go wrong in life. I think that there are some issues here for me about trust and trusting other people in a way where I think that you're quite calculated in what it is that you're prepared to give to people in a way that is kind of half glass empty, really. I think you anticipate the worst in people. I think that you feel that with people that they are never too far from maybe crossing you in a way where they will just let you down, and that it will lead to mistrust of some sort, or, you know, just disappointment at a base level. I think that through your experience as a person, I think that there has been a lot of suffering, in fact. And I think that it's been a very rocky road for you, and that you've actually climbed up through those experiences in a way where it's really taught you a lot about life. And I think that you've learnt to stand on your own 2 feet, and I think that you've learnt to depend on yourself, and that depending on other people is something that you won't do, that you don't do. You don't want to leave your life, your emotions, I guess your experience in the hands of another person. I think that you like to kind of be at the reins in a way where you kind of, yeah, are able to control things, okay? And I felt that you're a very private person, a person who liked your own company, you liked to do your own thing, liked to do things your own way. Very, very intelligent. I would have said, so very, maybe very academic for some of you. I would have said that you're somebody who aspires to, like a professional life that is very much about being in the driving seat. So, managing other people, maybe managing an organization, or if that's not the case, definitely being, very strategic in the way that you're working in a way that leaves you to kind of, have some autonomy where you're not going to be subjected to, I guess the inevitable games that you anticipate in terms of personalities and groups of people. I feel that you do push people away. I'm saying a lot of stuff here that you could interpret as being negative, but I actually think what I like about this is that you know who you are as a person, you know what you like, and you know what you don't like. And you don't suffer fools very gladly. In fact, you don't give them any time at all. And you don't give anybody really much of an opportunity to even go there on that particular level. I think you're a very deeply compassionate person. I think that has been driven by the challenges that you've had in your own life. I felt for some of you, this could be about abandonment. I felt a deep sense of loneliness here, but it's a loneliness that you've learned to live with. I think you're very self-reliant and you really know how to get through life doing things in a way that are, about your own self-dependence, yeah? I do feel that you are in a relationship, and come down here to the Devil and the King of Wands. I felt that this was a relationship that, it's tricky. I think a very passionate relationship. I feel that there is a really strong sexual chemistry here with this particular person. I think that there is a sense here that this person is trying to prove themselves to you. I feel like this has been going on for a really long time. This person is trying to show you that they can be responsible, that they are trying to show you that they actually respect you, that they honor you, that they are going to be there for you in a way where you can depend on them. And I feel here, you see that with the Devil, it's a real push away energy. I kind of feel that the dynamic here is one where you're kind of pushing away, but they're trying to sort of push back in a way where they're saying, no, I'm not that person. I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to be the person that lives up to your expectations. I'm different from that. And I want to show you that I'm not going to be the worst possible example. I kind of feel that there's quite a lot going on here also in terms of the way it expresses your pursuit of professional success. The King of Wands is a card of, leadership qualities, in terms of really trying to reach the top of the ladder in terms of, succeeding in the workplace. It's a really capable card that expresses an energy that is visionary. This card knows what it takes to get the job done and is willing to give everything to it in a way that actually self-realizes it. So this is a card that you can depend on, and it's fueled by the Devil, and that energy is very ambitious, very thirsty to make it to the top. So I'm talking about a lot of stuff here that kind of pads out your circumstances, that leads up to this idea of having a child. And I feel that at the moment, one of the main dependable and central focuses in your world is your professional life. It's a really big deal. And I think you love it, but I think you also hate it. You're driven by the need to be successful. I think your identity is wrapped up a lot in this idea of being someone who is validated through their career. And I think that you're really good at what it is that you do. And I think as a consequence of that, I think that's something that you would have to really make a consideration of in terms of having a child. Because if you have a child, then you're going to have to make some compromises there in terms of the way that it is that you're working. And, that might mean taking some time out or moderating the amount of time that you've actually got to put into the role that you have, or it means that perhaps in the medium to sort of longer term that you have other responsibilities that will compromise the energetic input that you have to be able to succeed on your career path. So I think that there are, for me, if I come back up here to the wheel, because the wheel is also about risk, it's about taking chances on having a child. And here with the Six of Cups, it's, one of the strongest cards that we have for children in tarot. So it's like, yeah, it'll be really lovely, but there's risks involved. And I don't think it's just about, having the child. I think it's the impact the child will have upon you in terms of your broader world. Coming back over here to, excuse me, to death and the Three of Swords. And I really did feel here that there was, I did feel loss. I wonder whether for some of you that you had, like a miscarriage, or maybe you've had failed attempts at becoming pregnant. And there's this sense of expecting the worst, of been destabilized by circumstances that have not provided you with reliable outcomes, which kind of ties back into this historic nature of maybe feeling isolated, abandoned, unsupported. I kind of feel like these two cards really amplify this idea of expecting the worst out of life, that life can be really cruel as well. So I kind of feel that you are somebody who is born out of really difficult circumstances, both historically and probably more recently. I feel that there's been a lot of challenges for you in terms of, kind of really compounding a lot of what you expect out of life, expecting the worst things out of life. For me, I kind of feel there's a loss of faith, but I'm also feeling a loss of love. Like I don't feel that you're sort of, a person who's open to that emotional experience, as somebody tapping in at a heartfelt level and really kind of, going there as far as having that vulnerable experience. I think that, it's like that. I think for you, that's really challenging. It's a really tricky thing to navigate. It's not, I don't feel like it's something that you've achieved yet. And what I see here with your partner is somebody who is really sort of saying, look, I'm devoted to you. I'm trying to prove myself to you. I know that you don't fully accept me and accept what it is that I'm capable of doing. I know that you're trying to push me away, but I'm staying here and I'm standing my ground, and I'm going to give you the continuity of an experience that expresses the fact that I take who it is that you are as a person in full responsibility. I want you to see that I'm here for you, and that I am somebody that you can trust, which I think is actually really beautiful. I felt that a big part here of what I'm feeling, of where things are going in terms of the future outcome with you and this relationship, which is what underpins this idea of becoming pregnant. I feel that, it's going to get to a point here with Justice and the Nine of Wands. It's like, you're sitting on the fence about this. The idea of having a child, maybe you're not taking contraception, maybe you're just kind of like rolling the dice and seeing where it goes with your partner, sort of, kind of randomly. If it happens, then we'll just kind of read it as it unfolds. I don't feel there is a specific plan here in terms of, either the relationship or the idea to have children. I kind of feel like you're just surfing a wave, and it's like, is that going to curl and dunk you in a way where you're sort of struggling to kind of get back up and breathe air and to kind of get back out of the water? Or are you going to surf this wave in a way where you're kind of confident in where it's going to take you, and that it's got your back, and that it will actually deliver you to the shoreline in a way where you're going to survive it and actually find this has actually been a really rewarding experience? That's kind of where I feel it's at. Okay. But at the moment, it's like, you can see here with Justice and the Nine of Wands, it's like, I think you're really immersed in your career and you're giving it 100%. Like, that's the thing that you have faith in, your ability to be a successful individual as far as the work that you do. And the thing is that I think you'll get to a point where that's actually becoming really exhausting. And, also it's not giving you that the kind of the deeper experience of happiness, and fulfillment, which you need to take a risk on in order to kind of, to see whether that's going to work both in the relationship and, a commitment with a person that you can let into your world and happily have a child with as a future experience. So I kind of feel that this is about confronting your own responsibility to yourself, right? About being vulnerable and opening up to your partner and to the experience of a future commitment to each other in a way where you can be who you really are in a way that doesn't get the worst experience as a consequence. That not everybody is actually going to lead you to a disappointing experience where, they walk all over you, where they abandon you, where they fail you in some kind of way, in some kind of way. And I really feel that with your partner, I think you'll be very hard pushed to get somebody who is prepared to really make that commitment to you in a way where they let you be the person that you actually are without actually expecting anything back. I don't feel that this person's saying to you that they need you to be somebody that you're not. I think that what I feel here is that they're saying, you are who you are, and I accept you for who you are, and I want to show you that I'm here for you and that I'm devoted to you. So I kind of feel that there's a big experience here that needs to be explored in terms of your personal responsibility. And justice is all about that. In order to get a fair and just outcome to the situation, you have to get off the fence and take a risk and actually let this person in to kind of, to unfold an experience that, you need to live and learn from, that actually takes you to a positive outcome. And the only way you're going to do that is to start projecting more positively with that person. And I think also, by remaining unconvinced about everything, it is exhausting within itself. So there's a lot of weighing up to do, but I think not so much so that it becomes more exhausting for you. And I felt that the outcome here was a really positive one. I feel that if you make that commitment, you let that person into your life, and you can see that with Temperance and the Ace of Cups, you'll find a balance. You'll find the emotional connection that actually feeds back into you and allows you really to experience love. But also, I think you actually find that you've got a lot in common here between the two of you. You really need to start going with the flow here in a way where you could not just connect to this person, but connect on a spiritual level within yourself. Only love is going to make this happen. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just kind of calculating, your circumstances in a way where you're mitigating risk. Yeah. You're taking a chance on things and expecting something to go wrong. But if you infuse love into this experience, okay, you're making a commitment to a person to have a life with, and then it's about having a child because this is something that is expressing the love that you want to have with this person. Yeah. So I feel that this is a process of healing, is finding a balance in the relationship, finding a balance within yourself, bringing healing to the experience, to trust to the experience. And I felt that, within a year of actually making that commitment to your partner and to yourself, that you would become pregnant really, really easily. So I felt within a year's time, there was pregnancy. And then 9 months after that, there would be a baby. Now, I'm saying that that's a 12-month time frame before you get pregnant, and then 9 months after, if you let this person in. But if you don't, I feel that things are just going to spin along in a way where you're just kind of expecting the worst and not getting anything out of the experience. I don't feel that pregnancy is really going to happen in this relationship unless you make that extra effort to really go the distance and really open up and commit on a level that becomes loving and unifying. So I hope this reading has made some sense to you. If it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2, and we are looking at when you are going to have a baby. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on here with these cards, which I find really interesting. Circumstantially, I think there's quite a lot going on here, and I'm here at the Moon and Page of Pentacles. I felt there's a lot of worry about becoming pregnant. A lot of planning going on as well, trying to make sense of how this is all supposed to work. It's almost like you've got the main thrust of what's supposed to happen, but you haven't quite gotten your head around it in a way that thrashes out the details. So there's a lot of focus going on about trying to make sense of things in terms of formulating a plan, a clear pathway that gives you action points to really feel that you're making some sort of progress towards the idea of having a baby. But I don't feel that this is just about having a baby. I want to come over here to the Tower and the Nine of Pentacles. I felt that falling pregnant has not been an easy road for you up until this particular point. I don't feel like it's been going so well. Lots of failed attempts. And I think this has really diminished your confidence in a way that's left you to feel very concerned about your health, and to wonder whether something is going wrong at a physical level. I feel like you've actually withdrawn quite a lot here, and I don't necessarily feel that you're sharing these concerns with other people, so with your partner or with your friends or with your family. A definite sense of withdrawing into yourself in a way that is very self-reflective, and trying not to worry that this might be a worst case scenario, that something could be wrong. But I don't feel this just about that. The Tower is definitely a card of instability. With the Tower, it's kind of like, trying to get anything up and running is just near impossible, because there is no stable ground to, establish an idea or an opportunity in a way that actually brings it into some sort of manifestation. And it's coupled with the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of growth. So it's definitely about the idea of getting pregnant, but I kind of feel that there's more to this than just about pregnancy. I kind of feel that there's a lot going on for you within yourself in a way that really says, look, I want to get pregnant. I like the idea of having a child, but I don't know if I'm just ready just now. I don't know if the circumstances are stable enough for me to be able to do that. And I don't mean just in terms of falling pregnant, but where am I at in my life, as far as my journey on my career path is concerned, in terms of my own professional development. The Nine of Pentacles is a card that expresses this idea of latent talent. There's something there that's yet to have been realized about the person who it is that you really are, in terms of your ability to tap into creative opportunity or professional development, or some kind of idea that brings who it is that you are to the forefront in a way that says, this is who it is that I am in my own right, as an independent and self-realized person who is worth something. I kind of feel that there is a lot going on here for you in a way that puts you out of balance with the idea of pregnancy. I kind of feel that this could be, for some of you, it could be about some sort of creative idea or opportunity that you've yet to realize within yourself that would take up a lot of time and energy and focus. Maybe for other people, it could be about your career propulsion, or the work that you're doing and your ability to be able to develop and grow through that. It might also be for study, because if we come back over to here to Page of Pentacles, it's also for some of you, this is a very strong study card. So for some of you, you might be looking at doing some sort of study that sort of, takes you to the next level in terms of your ability to earn more from a professional point of view, or to learn more from a developmental point of view. So I kind of feel that there's a lot going on. And I feel that there's a lot of stress on you, and that you're really keeping this to yourself in a way where you're not sharing it. And if I come down here to the Sun and the Knight of Cups, I find this is the crux point, really, of where the pressure's coming from. I feel like you're definitely in a relationship with someone who's really beautiful, a really lovely, warm personality that has a really positive and supportive influence on your life. And I feel that you've had some very difficult times over the years. I feel that you're not. I don't feel that you're the most confident person here. Like, I'm not saying that you can't be confident, but I feel that you've had a lot of knocks. that have knocked your confidence. And I think you sell yourself short of what is it you're truly capable of. And so in that context, I kind of understand where this reading's at. And I think that your partner really sees a lot in you and is very supportive of you and really wants the best for you. But this is double-edged, because I also feel that your partner wants to soften the blows for you in life. I think they want to shield you from actually having to maybe either toughen up or take some hard knocks. You know, it's almost like they want to wrap you up in cotton wool and make it all good for you. And they don't want you to come into harm's way. They don't want you to feel that things need to be too difficult. They kind of want to make life easy for you in some ways. I feel here with the Knight of Cups, it reflects a very poetically emotional person who has a lot of love to give. There's a real softness there that just makes this person very accessible in terms of love. Definitely, I think they give an enormous amount to you. And it's coupled with the Sun, which is a very strong card for kids. And so I kind of feel that this person is like the main, I guess, catalytic factor in terms of wanting to have kids just in the moment. I kind of feel that this person is actually really pushing you towards the idea of having children. Big push by them to get pregnant, definitely. They love kids. I feel that they're very good with kids. I feel like this is somebody who's probably been around kids quite a lot. Maybe they've got a big family. Maybe they've got lots of brothers and sisters. So very supportive towards you, but also really wanting to have kids. And I kind of feel for you, it's almost like you're not wanting to say no to this person. I feel here, if we come back over to the Moon and the Page of Pentacles, there's a lot of uncertainty here generated by the Moon. It feels worry, it's very internalized card. It can get quite depressive too, very down. I kind of feel that your energy is very down, very low, very internalized. I don't feel like you're sharing what's going on. I think that you're trying to be very practical about how you pull yourself through this experience. I think you're trying. I think your way of doing things is to plan things out, maybe to write lists, maybe to look at things from a very rational point of view. I kind of feel like you're very in your head about this experience in terms of trying to understand what the facts and what the figures are. How do we financially... Also, a lot of stuff comes up around money for you. There's a lot of pentacles here on your line. And so I kind of feel that money is a big factor for you. Maybe you're wanting to earn more money. Maybe you're wanting to save more money. Maybe you don't feel that there's enough money to have kids just at the moment. I kind of feel that you've got a lot of worry around finances, and a lot of worry around planning. So a lot of stuff going on there for you in terms of how you're dealing with things. Now, if I come down here to the Emperor and the Three of Cups, I kind of feel this sort of furthermore expands on your partner and what they're like in terms of, I think for their influence on you. I think that they're constantly projecting towards children, towards children. The Three of Cups is a card of celebration. It's about good times, happiness, something to look forward to. And it's coupled with the Emperor, which is a very strong parental card in tarot. It's definitely the card of fatherhood. So a very strong paternal, nurturing energy coming through here that really wants to look forward to something to celebrate in terms of the idea of becoming a parent. I also felt here that they may be always making references to the idea of having kids. When we get pregnant, when we have the baby, when the baby gets to this certain age, I just kind of feel they're very excited about this idea of having kids. And I think in many ways, I kind of feel that this is also an inherent thing. I felt this could be for some of you, that it could be extending into external family. It could be that this partner's father is really wanting to see kids. I'm saying that because I just kind of feel that there's a very male, masculine father energy. Or it could be about the family name, the idea of, your partner wanting to pass on the family name. Or it could be just, their or your own parental expectations, like your parents expecting you to have kids in a way that just really is about not only carrying on the name, but it's about lineage and passing down things on towards kids and grandkids and great grandchildren. Everybody's wanting to pinpoint when that's going to be. So I kind of feel there's a lot of pressure building here beyond the relationship. I feel that your partner is definitely pushing towards it in a very loving and very, beautiful way. And I kind of feel that it kind of comes from their parents or from extended family in a way that just, everybody's been really nice about it. There's no kind of nastiness here. I kind of feel like there's, the cups are going on here in a way where there's a lot of love, a lot of support. But at the same time, I kind of just feel that you're not in that same experience. I kind of feel that you're both on very different pages, and your partner doesn't have really a total understanding of where things are at for you in terms of how does it you really think and feel about what's going on here. And, this brings me here to Justice and the Three of Wands. And I feel that this is a really important, indicative pair of cards that are waiting in the balance in a way that really formulates quite a lot of advice here. The reality is that as things stand, you're just kind of limping towards this idea of having a baby. You're not 100% sold on it one way or the other. And if anything, I think the pressure that's building is actually driving a wedge between your feelings for your partner, and it's kind of creating a divide, because a big part of what you're actually internalizing is really about you and what you want to do and what your priorities are. And I don't feel that having a baby right now is the number one priority for you. I feel that there is something that needs to express here in terms of your inner self, through some creative project or some kind of unfolding in terms of your career or whatever that is for you. I kind of just feel that there's something else that needs to come to the forefront and to be recognized in a way where your partner understands where you're really at. And, Justice is a card of truth, right? It's about taking stock on what's going on, and it's about fair and just outcomes that really enlighten you towards the facts. So you need some sort of balance here that really puts your partner into the picture of what's going on in a way that really gives them perspective. But you need to be providing that in a way where you're not fearful, and I think a lot of what I'm feeling here is that, your partner provides a lot of support for you. Maybe their family is really supportive of you as well. Or maybe your own family is really supportive of you. And perhaps you're really worried that you're going to let people down by saying that this isn't what you want right now. I kind of feel that you need to put your partner first and foremost into the picture so that they understand where you're really at, and to move forward from there with a joint vision of what you want to do. And you can see that here with the Three of Wands. It's a card of vision, but it's a card of action as well. So it's acting on what is fair and just between these two cards, and, having a vision for the future that takes the pressure out of the equation and really balances your ambitions with your partner's ambitions, so that you can get towards all of these goals in a way that is really healthy and balanced and fair. As opposed to kind of like burying it and just doing what you think you're supposed to do, because otherwise you might be robbed of the support you've grown to love and cherish. I feel here with Temperance and the Ace of Pentacles, I kind of feel that this is where the outcome is for me. This is the kind of the whole point of the reading, obviously, when will you have a baby? I feel that coming together through this experience of recognizing what you both want, that there was balance between the two of you, that you're not letting anybody down, that there's healing. Temperance is a card of healing and balance. It's a card of a relationship coming together in a way that actually finds some healthy moderation, some healthy kind of balance that actually leads you to feel that there is a way forward. And you can see here with the Ace of Pentacles, it's a card of new beginnings, okay? I felt there were unified goals here where you're coming together in support of each other for what each other wants. I felt that first and foremost for you, that your priorities in terms of your own development needed to come to fruition before you had a baby. I felt that there may be for some of you that there were certain financial goals that you also needed to realize before you felt comfortable to have a baby. I felt also for many of you that there was a really sort of strong, anxiety or fear around health. And perhaps, a big part of what's going on here in terms of, your process is trying to figure out whether you're okay physically. And I felt that health check would come through really clear for you, that there was no problems with your health. So there's like an all clear there. So there's a lot of things that need to be ticked off first before this next step is really to take place. And for me, that is first and foremost about your independent priorities, okay? So I kind of feel that there's something you need to realize. And I felt that was like a year to thrash through. The Ace of Pentacles for me always feels like a good solid year. Like it's number one in the deck, really, of that particular suit. And I felt that during this time, the two of you would really come together in a very close and loving way, and that you would really find each other in a way that actually gave balance and health to the relationship. And I have to be honest with you, I also felt that you would also fall pregnant very naturally during. So I'm giving this a year timeline. I feel that from 1 year onwards that you would fall pregnant, and that this would be a very natural pregnancy. I felt that this would be something that would actually be a bit of a bolt out of the blue. I don't feel necessarily that you're actually attempting for it at that particular time. And then I thought, obviously, 9 months later, that you would have a child. So 1 year to sort of, like 9 months after that, you will have a child. Lots to get through here before that's the case. I feel that it's absolutely fine not to want to have a child just yet. I feel it's absolutely fine to feel uneasy about it because you've got other priorities that are really important to you. I think you've got an amazing partner who is very supportive of you one way or the other, but they just don't know where you're really at. And I feel that it's time to be very honest with them in a way that actually really helps the both of you to understand how it is that you can actually plan this through in a way that is healthy for the both of you. So I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading and we're looking at pregnancy and having a baby. When is it going to happen for you? So that's the big question. Now, let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on here. And I felt that, this instinctual urge right up here with the Empress and the Four of Swords, there's this openness to becoming pregnant. I think for you, you're quite, I get a sense here, especially you can see that with the Fool and the Four of Swords, very open-minded person. I think you just kind of, roll with it in a way where, intuitively you just, pick up on things as they go. I don't feel for you that there needs to be a plan about this idea of having a baby. I don't think there's a good time or a bad time in your mind. Everything is possible, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So I kind of feel really enthusiastic sense of engagement about the idea of becoming pregnant and having a baby. The Empress is a card of maternal drive and motherhood. It's an instinctual urge, and that's not something you can control. And I think that you're actually very taken up by that sense of process of who it is that you are and what it is that you're going through at this particular time. I kind of feel like you're in the prime for this. It's like, I feel really receptive to the idea of becoming pregnant. And, it's like your body is speaking to you on a level that dismisses anything that your mind or some kind of a plan has. Now, over here with the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Pentacles, and I feel that your partner is on a really different page. Very different priorities in terms of what should come first at this particular time in their world. I get a sense that this is a person who is very aspirational, really wants to make it big in life. You can see that with the King of Pentacles, really wants to achieve a lot of material success. So it's just I get a feeling here for many of you that this might be a partner who has a very strong material focus just right now, wanting to get things in order in terms of finances and security, maybe housing. Just having everything right in a way where there doesn't have to be any worry about where things are going to land from a security point of view, as far as being a parent, as far as being a couple or a family is concerned. So I feel that at this time, this, you can see here with the Wheel of Fortune, it's a card of risk. And, so this person is saying, look, at this time, right now, it's like, no, the idea of becoming pregnant, it's like, like if we have a baby now, there's too much risk involved. There's other priorities. There are other things that we need to achieve before a baby comes on board into our life. And I feel here, you can see with the King of Pentacles, like the King of Pentacles is very sure about themselves, very fixed in ideas as far as how things should roll. This is the king, so they kind of feel like they're in control to some degree. I feel like your partner's been very inflexible on the topic. They won't budge on it. It's like, this is how things are. They're very set, and it's very material, and very dismissive of perhaps what it is that your experience is, which is a very intuitive experience, a very physical experience. And they're not saying no. It's not they're not saying no, but they're saying, they're not saying soon either. I kind of feel that this partner is saying, yeah, this is something that we're going to do as a couple. But I feel, this is the other person, I feel that what they're saying is that we've got other priorities that are going to take some time to work towards, and that if we're going to have a child, we want what's best for them. I felt, that's not like a hollow or insensitive position either. I'll be honest with you. I do feel that this partner, wants the best for a child. They want to kind of lavish them with everything that they need. They want everything to be right. They want to make sure that you're okay financially in terms of money and security, that the baby has everything that they need to be a child who could never want for more. Whether this is your first child, your second child, another child, I kind of feel it's the same thing either way. It's just like this is somebody who really wants the best for you. They want the best for your child. I think what I find very difficult about this is there's a lot of inflexibility about this position, but it is also wrapped up in this person as well. I kind of feel that this is a slightly egotistical character who thinks that they're always right. Sees that they should have the last word somehow. And either way, I kind of feel that their material focus is something that is always prioritized over other matters. And if we come up here to Justice and the Three of Swords, and I feel here, because it's a really unbalanced perspective. Justice is all about finding a fair and just outcome, and it's coupled with the Three of Swords. And I feel that for you, it's like, it's like you haven't been heard in a way that validates your experience. I think that's left you really questioning the relationship in a way where this topic has become quite pivotal. It's like, you feel really let down by your partner in a way that it's because it lacks fairness, and it really it casts a shadow over the relationship in a way where there's been quite a lot of heartache on this matter. I feel like there's a lot of gravity on the subject with your partner, and equally I feel that there's just as much gravity on the subject for you. And I think you are both in on very different positions, very different pages as to how you should move forward with this. I think for you feel like this has been really one-sided, and then it's impacted on your happiness, because the idea of becoming pregnant is something that is very whole for you. It's not just about planning ahead and having material security. It's about tapping into something that actually feels right for you. This is the moment. This is the inspiration. I'm open to this experience now. And I think also it says a lot about how different you are as people. You're a very open, intuitive, free-flowing person who kind of just rolls with it. And you're happy to make it up as you go along. But also, your priorities are very different. You're not somebody who necessarily feels that you have to have a lot of material security. I think you feel that perhaps you can make a lot more out of what you actually have, as opposed to your partner, who's really more of a tomorrow person. They're always thinking about tomorrow and, next month and next year and the retirement. You're thinking about today. Let's do it because it actually feels good right now. So I kind of feel like there's a lot of, there's a lack of balance in the relationship on this particular issue. And, this person's not listening to you in a way that you feel that they are actually hearing you, right? So you might be telling them what's going on. They might listen to some degree, but they're not actually hearing you. I kind of feel also here there's been repeated attempts to kind of, to thrash this conversation out, to thrash this issue out. And each and every time it's come to the exact same place. And I felt that unsuccessful outcome accumulatively has really led you to feel, oh God, is this really what I want? So at the moment, back here with the Empress and the Four of Swords, I kind of feel like you're withdrawn in a way where you're not talking about this subject. I think you're kind of meditating on things in terms of, where you're at and what you want. I feel like the maternal drive is in full kind of, like it's like in full force. I kind of don't feel like that's dissipated. And I think this has actually become a real issue for you because it's like you're still feeling the same. There's a lack of resolution in terms of being heard. You're not moving any closer to something that you really want to do that would make you feel very whole. So it kind of begs the question in many ways. I think maybe for some of you, you've been thinking, God, is this the right partner? Have I got the right person here? Is this the person I really want to be with? I don't feel like you're attempting to have a child just at the moment. I kind of feel like in many ways you've actually withdrawn. And I really feel like you've gone into your shell, that you're not talking to this person. It's like, it's kind of like, I feel like you're sort of saying, it's like, well, like if I try and have a conversation with you about anything, it's always going to get back to this particular subject because it's actually very central to my life. But at the end of the day, you're not hearing me. So what's the point in even talking to you? And so I kind of feel like you've really pulled back into yourself in a way where you've gone very quiet and, you're kind of reflecting on what's going on. Yeah, so there's definitely a lack of resolution there. But I think also you're harboring discontentment. I mean, the Four of Swords is all about meditation, self-reflection, but it's also reflecting on swords, which are about issues. And if you swords always reflect back to the past because they're about the past and the future. So looking back to the past, I think you haven't been able to let go of the unfairness of this situation. That's what's really strong for me. Now, over here to the Devil and the Knight of Cups, this reflects your partner in a way where I kind of felt that they were being very forced in their affection and kindness. I kind of feel like they're being quite over the top. The Knight of Cups is definitely about love and mobilizing goodwill in a way where you're trying to sort of, connect in on a heartfelt level, but it's coupled with the Devil, and the Devil is a tricky card. It's a card of restriction, and it's a bit mistrustful on one level because I think at the end of the day, they know that they've. What I feel here is guilt, actually. I got to be honest with you. I kind of feel that they know that they've been really selfish by digging their heels in on this position. I think they're trying to make you happy, but it's much more superficial. So they're trying to do nice things for you. Maybe trying to cook you dinner, bringing home flowers, maybe wanting to take you out to dinner. Maybe they're just trying to make conversation and trying to sort of like talk about different things in a way where, it's like, let's concentrate on nice things, positive things. Let's go and do something that actually get our mind. Yeah, but it's all about getting your mind off of what's really core and fundamental. So I kind of felt there are a lot of attempts to do really nice things to make you feel better, to try and coax you out of this withdrawn state. But the motivating factor is that they're trying to gloss over the tension that's been created by them being so over the top on their position with this. And I kind of felt that this is somebody who really loves you. They're very motivated to be there for you in a way because they really care for you. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But at the same time, I think what's really kind of come to light here is that this person is quite a strong influence in your life. I think my sense here is you can see with the King of Pentacles, the Devil, the Emperor, it's a really strong energies. They're very forceful energies. They're quite I guess overbearing in some ways. Like it's sort of it's big personality stuff. It's like this partner is somebody who wants to have the last word. I kind of feel that this is somebody who's quite loud, opinionated, a little bit egotistical. But don't get me wrong, because I also feel that there's something really attractive about their character. I think that they exude a confidence, a sureness. There's a certainty there. And when you look at it from that point of view, as I said back at the beginning, I do feel that the intention is for the greater good. It's actually about putting things into order or into place in a way that really makes sure that everybody has everything they need to have like a successful and flourishing world, whether that's you or whether that's the baby, or whether all of you as a family. I guess it's just it's caught up in a very in a very narrow mindset that just doesn't see that this could be done a little bit more differently. And it's not taking into consideration that you're actually a very different person with a very different process, is what I'm trying to say here. I felt coming over here and moving more into the future, really, the Emperor and the Eight of Pentacles. I felt over this next year that there was a lot of financial movement and material progress based on your partner's confidence. That I kind of feel that they feel that they're actually making a lot of movement, and that this is giving a lot of progress in terms of what the timeline means as far as planning towards this more materially secure position. And I kind of I felt within this next 12 months that they would sort of really begin to modify their ideas as to what having a child really meant. But I also felt that through this person's process that they begin to really tune in to their own paternal or parental instinctual process, that this is something that they now feel that should come to the forefront, and that perhaps they've actually been a little bit too stern, a little bit too hard. The Emperor is a card of fatherhood. It's a masculine energy. It's or at least about being a parent, if you want to kind of keep it nice and open. But the Empress and the Emperor, these are very traditional sort of archetypes as far as mother and father are concerned in tarot. And I feel that your partner is beginning to back down and to listen to you in a way where they're a little bit more flexible, as far as, the idea of prioritizing becoming, a parent and to have a child. So I kind of feel that there's a lot of preparation going on over the next 6 to 12 months that really sort of forecast a much more immediate focus of having a child. But that's just very much a headspace. And, I kind of feel that they're softening in their position in a way where they're beginning to sort of, bring it forward in a way that is according to their own process. And they are listening to you, and they are stepping up on one level. But I think what's more interesting for me is if you come over here to the Fool and the Three of Cups, I feel that in terms of your timeline and where you're going with this process is like at the moment, it's like, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to hear about it. I'm sick of talking about it. I know where this is going. It's not getting me what it is that I want. It's making me think about what you're really like, the issues that are underlying between the two of us. And the reality is that we are very different people. And I kind of feel that you're stepping into a very different headspace over this coming month. That's, the Fool is really about just like letting everything go and not feeling that you need to buy into your partner's story in a way that kind of, keeps it so fixed and stiff and almost mechanical in a way. I get a sense here. You can see this with the Three of Cups. This need to feel better about who it is that I am as a person. I don't. If my partner's not going to give me what it is that I want, if they're not going to listen to me, I need to concentrate on my own needs, and I need to feel better about myself in a way that kind of sort of just kind of lets all of this go and steps into a space where I actually take not ownership, but I kind of just recognize that my process is also the right process. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think what's really interesting here as far as a reading is concerned, I felt that you would actually get pregnant very naturally way before a timeline, forecast according to your partner or whatever it is that you both decided together is actually going to happen. I felt that you would become pregnant very quickly over the next, I would have said in 3 months' time, you would become pregnant. And this was something that was like a bolt out of the blue. And all of a sudden, you're in the moment and, you have great news, and it just brings everybody together in a way where I feel that your partner will be really happy to hear this news. It's like it's almost like it takes the sting out of having to plan for it. It's like having it just kind of served up in a way where you're having to be in the moment and deal with it. Just it just breaks down all of these preconceptions as to how this was supposed to work. And I feel here that your partner will just really embrace what's going on in a way where they're completely on board right away. It's like they're in the moment. And I also felt here, what's really lovely is that by being in the moment, it helps you to rediscover each other in a way where the relationship is kind of, brought back to a feel-good factor. There's been a lot of swords here, a lot of pentacles here, the swords being issues, the pentacles being money and finance and security and planning. It's been everything but what it really should be as far as having a baby is concerned. I feel, here with the Three of Cups, it is actually about just feeling good. It's about the full letting go and just being in the moment in a way where you just go with this. I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of feel that you've had the right idea from the start. It's actually about just being in the moment, being open to what's going on and to what's coming your way. But I also feel that, that you have something to teach your partner here. And I don't feel that you're going to be confronting in the way that this happens. I feel that this is just something natural. It wasn't what you were expecting. It's not what your partner was expecting. So 3 months' time, I feel, is around the right time, where you become pregnant. 9 months after that. So within 1 year, you're going to have a baby is what I feel. Listen, I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 4. So here we are looking at pregnancy and having a baby. When is this going to happen for you? Now let's jump in and have a look and see what we've got here. So I'm going to come up here to Justice and the 8 of Cups. Yeah, I feel like just sitting in a kind of a very, I guess, introverted dwelling position that reflects on what you don't have. It's all about what you don't have at the moment. I think you're being really hard on yourself. I think you have a tendency to be very, very hard on yourself as well. I think you judge yourself very, very harshly. I think that you always think that you should be somewhere that you're not, that you should be further up the track, making more progress, that you should have done, you should have had the baby by now. You should have had the money in the bank, bought the house, had the job that you always wanted, traveled the world. It's like, kind of feel like there's a tick list there that, you're wanting to tick off before you've really been in the moment and actually just kind of, accepted that you are where you are and that, that's actually okay. My feeling here is that there is not another person in your life at the moment to have a baby with if it came down to a relationship. So I feel alone. I feel a sense of loneliness here. And I feel like you're weighing everything up in a way that questions whether you'll ever have a baby, Am I ever going to have a baby? It's not should I have a baby, it's am I ever going to have a baby? Am I ever going to be in a relationship that actually helps me to get a baby, to have a baby? It's like this thing about reality and reality really biting you very hard and kind of showing you where it is that you're at in a way that makes you reflect on everything quite harshly. It's like, my sense is that you think that you're here because you've done something wrong and that everything isn't right. Yeah, and I feel like it's, in many ways, you're also saying, is having a baby what it's all about for me? Maybe I'm not meant to have a baby. Maybe it's about something else. Maybe I'm supposed to go in a very different direction in life. So taking stock on being alone, and I think probably if I kind of expand on that idea of being alone, it's also, where is somebody for me? I feel like I'm always being left alone. There's a sense of abandonment here, that you're being forsaken. Maybe that's a historical thing for you, for some of you. Maybe people have been very unreliable in your world in a way where you feel that you can't depend on anybody, and it kind of really exacerbates the situation in a way where the idea of having a baby and everything that it symbolizes becomes quite painful, because it means that you need to be close to somebody. And, whenever you've tried to be close to anybody, they've never really been there for you in a way where you can depend on them. So the idea of having a baby is like really, amplifies this issue, because nobody's here now to have a baby. And if I did have somebody who was here to have a baby with, maybe they wouldn't even be there for me in the long run. It's kind of that way of thinking about things. I think leading up to this particular point, I wonder for some of you whether there's actually been some bad health, like a run of bad health, like you've been unwell, sick, feeling under the weather, or just, just feeling really run down perhaps. The Nine of Wands is a card of exhaustion. Like it's working really hard. It's pushing until it kind of takes itself to the brink, and it's coupled with a Star, which is a card of health, but it's also a very vulnerable card. It's that feeling that I've pushed myself so hard to achieve whatever it is that I'm doing in my world, that I've kind of taken myself to the brink, and I feel really vulnerable. I feel alone, and I feel unwell. I feel also like I'm questioning what it is that I'm actually pushing for. Maybe this sort of trajectory that you've been on in terms of your work or other focuses in your life, it's kind of it's made you think, oh my gosh, what's this all about? Why am I pushing myself so hard to kind of reach for the stars, to reach for what it is that I really want in life. I think I kind of feel like you're questioning everything, right up until this particular point. In some ways, I kind of feel like maybe you want to give up. Maybe give up on the idea of having kids. Maybe give up on the idea of having a relationship. Give up on the idea of reaching for the things that you want in life that seem like they take a lot of energy. Is it that feeling like, oh, everything just takes so much work to get to? Maybe I should just sit on the couch and veg out and not worry about anything. Why am I pushing myself towards all of these goals? Why am I pushing myself towards the big things in life that don't seem to come easy to me? They seem to come easy to everybody else. I think this is the thing, when I look at justice, it's like that card of reflecting on balance of what it's like for me versus what it's like for everybody else. Everybody else seems to get it. Everybody else seems to get the job, get the relationship, have the baby, settle down, buy the house, live the life. Whereas me, like I'm pushing to get something. Just one of these things would be nice, but it just seems like it's so much hard work. And I feel exhausted by it. Life is running me down. I feel really vulnerable, and I question what this is all about. And I don't feel well. I don't feel great. I feel tired. If I come down here to the Magician and the Ten of Wands, what I really like about who it is that you are as a person is you're really motivated. When you know what you want, you just kind of like, you go for it 100%. No wonder you're exhausted. No wonder you're fried. No wonder you are feeling the way you're feeling, because you give it 100% when you do go for it. And I think the thing is that you're quite opportunistic. When you see something that you do want, you kind of, you give yourself over to it in a way where you try and manifest it at all costs. Like, but the thing is, you got to believe in it. The thing is, you have to believe in what it is that you're going for in life. Otherwise, I don't feel that you're actually going to kind of go for it. The Magician is a motivated card. It sees opportunity. It strikes things into action. It manifests. Like it's as simple as that. It steps into positivity and manifestation because it believes in what it's doing. That's you. That's who it is that you are as a person. And the Ten of Wands is a card of endurance. It's about going for it in a way where you take it all on and you don't give up. And the reality is with the Ten of Wands is that you have the energy to make it happen. You have the energy to co-align with the Magician in a way where you do bring things to manifest. So actually, you know how to work your magic. You know how to get what it is that you want when you believe in it. And I think once you're up for it, then you'll go for it. I think this for me also says that you're a strongly independent person. I feel like you've prioritized other things in your world in a way where you've kind of gone, you know what, I'm doing all of these other things. I'm not actually going for kids and relationships and settling down and, moving into the burbs or setting up shop with a house. That's not what I'm doing, because I kind of feel that you've done some very different things in your world. Perhaps you actually haven't followed the same kind of trajectory as your friends. Perhaps you're not doing what everybody else is doing on TV and the way that you're supposed to do things socially, on social media or according to sort of, love stories in the movies, all that sort of stuff. Like maybe you're not cut out for that kind of life. So maybe you've actually decided to kind of serve things on a bit more of an edgy scale, like a bit more sort of like you're looking for something a little bit more different because, you're kind of edging towards the magic, and edging towards the magic is where you take risks. It's kind of keeping the energy dynamic, buzzy. It's not in the safe zone where all the mums and dads and kids are. I'm not saying that you're not going to have you're not going to have kids or be a mum or a dad. But what I'm trying to say is that, if you want to kind of play it safe, then you'd probably be doing it you would have been doing it very differently from the start. And I think that you've chosen to prioritize different things in your world in a way that you've said, look, I want this to be about me first. I want to do what it is that I want to do in life. Maybe you've wanted to travel. Maybe the career has actually been the most important thing to you. Maybe you've decided to focus on yourself and your spiritual journey. Maybe it could be, you've done sort of, some course of study. You've taken that really serious and it's, absorbed a lot of time in your world. It could be anything. Whatever it is, it's been about you. It's defined you as who it is that you are as a person. So I think it's very interesting that, if we come over here to the Lovers and the Nine of Swords, this is really it's a position where you're gripped by fear. It's this idea that, things aren't going to work out. It's going to be the worst possible situation, The Nine of Swords is a card of negative projection. It's about fear. It's sitting on the edge of the seat in a way where you're just anticipating the absolutely worst thing that's ever going to happen in life. And it's coupled with the Lovers. Maybe you're looking at the idea of meeting somebody in a way that says it's never going to happen, or that if I do meet somebody, it's going to be a complete failure. The Nine of Swords are also about reflecting on the past. Maybe past relationships accumulatively for some of you have just failed you in a way that has left you to feel that you are always abandoned, that you can't rely on people. I kind of also feel here that this is saying to me that there's like a disproportionate negative projection going on in a way where you're also thinking that you're going to be alone forever, that you'll never have a baby, that it's going to be a worst case scenario, and that, somehow you're not empowered to make choices that actually get you to where it is that you want to be. Which is a stark contrast to how things have actually been rolling up until this particular point, where you have made your mind up on more specific areas of your life to get what it is that you want, and you've actually manifested them. But for some reason, the idea of a relationship and a baby, this seems to be something almost a little bit more mystical to you. It's like that's out of my reach. It's like it's like you don't believe in that. Or perhaps for some of you, maybe you don't believe that you're good enough for it. Yeah, maybe you think that this is all about you, that there's something wrong with you. That somehow, when it comes to this particular issue of actually settling down with somebody that leads towards the idea of having a child, that you're jinxed, that I can't get that part right. Everything else feels really natural to me. I'm able to kind of get on board with my career or my study or whatever it is I choose to do in a way where people are kind of envious of my ability to really pull it together and to make it happen. But when it comes to this stuff that everybody else seems to be able to do quite naturally, I'm completely out of my league. It's like I'm a fish out of water. It's very interesting because I think the reality is if you come over here to the High Priestess and the Three of Cups, these are cards that really give you an enormous amount of advice around the idea of what it means to have a child, to have a baby, or to have that relationship if that's what you choose. Or maybe you don't even choose to have a relationship. Maybe you want to have a baby in a very different way. It could be IVF or it could be about adoption or, there's more than one way just to have a baby. But the principle is the same. It's about the power of positive visualization. Uncertainty won't manifest anything if you don't believe that it can happen, okay? You need to switch this. You need to flip it around in a way where you're actually in the moment, living your life today. You're not living your life yesterday. You're not living your life tomorrow. You're living your life right in this moment where you actually make your mind up about what is it you want, and you begin to creatively visualize that and project it forward in a way that believes in it. Yeah. So it's kind of like taking away this, I guess, this idea of the fear, yeah, around having a baby, and kind of, like replacing that with the endless possibility of I guess attracting possibility, So for me, it's about shaping your future in a way where you change your vibe. So you need to be in the moment and actually just kind of enjoy where you're at this point in your life. If you are alone, that's okay. It's okay to be alone. If you want to be in a relationship, then you set that intention in a way where you feel positively engaged, and that you're able to do this because you believe that it can happen. You're not going to sort of like step off into the future in a way where you're believing that it's not going to happen, because you're just going to get more of the same, and you're just going to constantly fuel that fear and that anxiety in a way that manifests nothing. So switching it up, believing in what it is that you really want, changing up the vibe in a way where you start to resonate and attract different experiences and possibilities based on what you believe in can happen, will manifest what you want. And the reality is that you already know that, because as I've already pointed out, if we come back here to the Magician and the 10 of Wands, you are somebody who knows how to make it happen. You can work your magic once you know what you've got to work with. You just need to get sure about yourself on this particular subject in a way that sets you in the right direction so that you can begin to work your magic. And if we come up here to the Hierophant and the 3 of Pentacles, I kind of feel once you've done that within 1 year's time, you'll have met somebody, okay? I feel that there's an introduction. It could be through a friend, or it could be through work, or through some kind of social setting where you actually do meet somebody. And that first year of having met them is a very strong courtship period that kind of follows very traditional lines. The Hierophant is a card of commitment and marriage and formalizing binding contracts between people. Okay, so it's the primary card for marriage. The 3 of Pentacles is definitely a card of foundations, laying foundations. I felt that there would be an introduction with somebody within that first year, and I felt from that point forward that within the first 2 years of meeting that person, there would be a really strong established foundation in terms of a relationship here, okay? I felt that this was a formal courtship period within the first year. Within 2 years, there is a proposal for marriage. And by the 3rd year, I felt that there would be a baby by that 3rd year. So for me, I feel that's a total of 3 years. You will have a baby in 3 years' time. And I felt that within 1 year's time, you will have actually met somebody. And so a total period of 3 years from this particular point. So lots to think about, lots to digest there. And I feel that the power is in your hands. I think the thing that really speaks to me about this particular reading is that at the moment you feel that you don't have any control over the way the future is shaped. But the reality is that you can shape the future if you actually choose to focus on this in the right way. Positively engage. Know what it is that you want. Believe in yourself and project that into the future to attract that possibility, and it will happen. I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 5. Here we are looking at pregnancy and babies. When is that going to happen for you? Now, I'm drawn down here to the Lovers and the Page of Swords. I feel like you're in a relationship with somebody, and I feel like that's actually quite solid. I feel like some time has passed between the two of you. I feel like you're fairly invested in this person. It's a thing, yeah? The question is, which way does it go from here on? Are you staying with this person? in a way that invests into a future to have a child? Are they staying with you? That invest into you and that child? I kind of feel like your partner is not entirely convinced around this idea of having a child. I think that there's concerns about it. There's questions around it. I feel like they've got lots of distractions going on. I feel that there's doubt there. It's like, I don't know if this is really what I want to be doing right at this time. I don't know if this is really very good for us just yet. I've got a lot going on, and, like having a baby, that'll get in the way of me making choices or being able to decide on certain things that I want to do. And yeah, there's a lot of worry about it. Anxiety actually is what I pick up. Worry, anxiety, same thing really. This is somebody who is very much the glass half empty. I don't feel like this is a confident person. I feel that they interpret the world through a lens of struggle, to some degree. Very intelligent person. I think that they think things through in quite a lot of detail. So very thoughtful and very concerned for you, very concerned for your circumstances together. I think, largely this is somebody who really thrashes out a lot of detail and complexity. And I think that sometimes they trip over themselves through that process because they just get a little bit too caught up in the potentials of what can go wrong as opposed to what can go right. Maybe just digging too deep at times. I think for you, it's like a no-brainer. You want to have a baby, right? The Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Cups. this is something that you've always wanted to do. And in fact, for you, every risk that you take, every path that you walk down, it's all roads lead to babies. I think for you, that's always been your intention. Every action you've actually taken points towards that direction. You're ready for kids. It's now for you. And if it's not today, it's definitely about what you're doing today to make that happen for tomorrow. I think that your partner's influence has had quite a big impact on you. I think that you're questioning them in a way that sort of, I think they've stirred a lot of feeling in you that makes you feel quite uncertain. Does my partner really want to have kids? Can I trust them to deliver on something that they know that I really want? Yet they seem to question it quite a lot. So I think there's some discrepancies there just in terms of where you're both at this particular time. If I come over here to the Devil and the Nine of Swords, and I feel like your partner historically has been through a really challenging time in their life. I feel that they can be their own worst enemy at times. They get very in their head about stuff. I think mental health, maybe for some of you, for your partner, have been a bit of an issue in a way where I feel like they've been quite debilitated, disempowered, disengaged. They haven't been participating in the relationship in a confident way, let alone, being able to sort of create some vision for the future for the two of you. I think I feel like this person can be very codependent. They lean on you very hard. I sense that this person can find it very difficult at times to face things in a way that breathes a kind of a positive perspective. Sometimes it can be very doom and gloom. I don't think that they're necessarily like that all the time, but I do feel like they've been through a really rough patch. I feel like this person's actually been sort of, really deep down into the bottom of some kind of an experience that's just really challenged them. I think that they have began to ask a lot of questions about the meaning of life for them. Who am I? Where am I going? What is this all about? I can't, I can't figure myself. I feel like there's a bit of an identity crisis going on here, to be honest with you. And I think that they've been gripped by fear in a way where they've just been very much unable to face things. So kind of just like hobbling along in a way where they've really lent on you very hard. And if I come up here to the Moon and the Three of Pentacles, I feel like, for you, that's actually been really difficult, because I sense here is that you've been very invested in this relationship. I think that there's I feel like there's quite a lot of time here. For me, I would have said that this is like maybe 1, 2, 3 years of being with this person. Like there's significant kind of investment. And if it's not that long, it certainly feels like it's been a long time. There's a deep bond there. I think for you, there's been a lot of questions as to, yeah, it's like, I can't give up on them. They do depend on me. And at the end of the day, I have invested in this relationship and we have a really amazing basis as far as, building a life together. But I feel really uncertain about where it's all going. I think also you've taken on a lot of your partner's problems. I think that's had an impact on you and perhaps your mental health. I mean, the moon, it's a card of uncertainty. It's a depressive card, it's a card that stirs deep feeling that creates a lot of imbalance, it forces a lot of things up to the top. It can be quite confronting. It's like, oh my God, where is this all going? What do we have together? Is it stable enough for the future? Is this person actually going to deliver, what it is that I want in life? At the moment, it just feels like it's all about them. It's all about their problems. And, I feel like I need to be strong for them and, to give them what is it they need so they can stand on their own 2 feet. And I can't give up on this person, It's a lot of weight to bear. I think you've done a really amazing job, but it certainly puts you at this position here with the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Cups. And the Wheel of Fortune is about risk. It's about taking a chance on your partner, taking a chance on the idea that, you'll have kids someday with this person. And the Six of Cups is a card of children, but it's a card of uncertainty at the same time. It's sort of indulging that lovely, I guess, almost, overly sweet idea, of something being, like perfect, and it's like an ideal you're working towards, having children that will make you happy and you all live happily ever after. It's, and the reality is that life's not like that. Everything does have a risk. Even if you have children. And I feel that what's quite difficult here is that, coming back over here to the moon, actually, and the Three of Pentacles, I think even the support for you from friends, family, and maybe colleagues has actually begun to waver. I question for some of you whether maybe your friends have had concerns for you about the relationship and about where things are going. Maybe family have had something to say to you about, about their take on your partner and whether this is healthy for you. And I feel like there's been external influences that have left you to question the relationship because they've been questioning the relationship. So there's a lot going on here. And I think your partner is in a much better place than they were. I do feel like they've actually pulled themselves out of this black hole. And they're at a place now where they're much more constructive about the relationship. I think they're on board now. I mean, okay, so things might be slightly negative on one level, but at the same time, it's healthy enough to move forward in a way where you're feeling a bit more confident. So where's this all going? I think a lot of this depends on the relationship, but at the same time, you're a person who was always going to have kids. Pregnancy and falling pregnant and actually having a baby was never going to be a question for you. It was just a matter of time and place. And I feel that you'll be in this relationship and over the next 6 to 12 months, you'll actually fall pregnant in a very natural way. I think you're heading into a period of really intensive maternal instinctual kind of drive. It's like the idea of becoming pregnant is kind of superseded by the kind of physical receptive nature of falling pregnant. Yeah. I feel like you'll fall pregnant in 6 to 12 months time and that you'll decide that you want to keep this baby. Yeah. It's not a question for you even. It's like, yeah, this is the next step. But what it will do is like force up a lot of reflective process about the relationship. It'll make you question things even more. Like, what's the next step? Where are we going? I'm so heavily invested in this person now. I don't want to give up on them. I don't want to give up on us as a family. And also, this is a really flourishing time. The Empress is about motherhood. It's a card of receptivity and pregnancy, about having a child, being a mother, being a parent. It's coupled with the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of investment and growth and the next step forward in your life in many ways. And so it's like, okay, so what do we have and what is the next step? And I feel that you're not going to want to give up on this partner. You're not going to want to give up on them in any way, shape, or form. You've put too much into this to give up. And so it's not even a question of giving up. It's actually, for you, it's about the next step. And I think that what is really lovely about the outcome here is that if I come down here to the Hierophant and the Three of Cups, I feel like in terms of your partner's timeline, you know, this news, I mean, the Three of Cups is good news coming through. So pregnancies is marriage, you know, kids, marriage. It's all about the things that we celebrate in life, right? And this news totally changes their outlook. It just kind of picks them up, and all of a sudden, emotionally, they're feeling so much better about everything. It's for the first time, they're actually really lighthearted about what's going on in the world. You know, this has just kind of hit the sweet spot for them. It's really spoken to them in a way that they feel quite ecstatic about the idea of having a baby all of a sudden. And I feel that this is going to be a complete and utter vibe change for your partner. Yeah, that they will have a completely different outlook on what's going on as far as you and them and the baby is concerned. The Hierophant is a card of marriage and commitment. It's coupled once again here with the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebration. I feel that this person, is going to step it up, and they are going to, for many of you, this would be a proposal of marriage, okay? I feel that this person is actually going to pop the big question in light of this great news. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's actually take it to the next step and seal the deal. Now, if you're not already married, you will be, okay? And if it's not a formal proposal of marriage, it is definitely a formal proposal of commitment in the sense that this is becoming like, this is de facto, this is next step. This person is not going anywhere. They are with you for the long term. I really feel that the longer term forecast for this particular person is that they will be much more chill about everything in terms of the relationship. I feel that in some ways, it's almost like this is like a forced responsibility that kind of drives them to the next, I guess drives them to take on responsibility. It's a forced responsibility, but it also is, it's a positive influence is what I'm trying to say. And it gives them a clear vision to make everybody happy, including themselves. I kind of feel like this is going to be a really unifying process that will really bring a lot of happiness into both of your lives and really snap your partner out of this very difficult, uncertain, overly self-reflective, maybe even self-indulgent period, and force them to step up in a way where they take on the responsibility of commitment to you and I guess the commitment of a family. Yeah, it's a vibe changer and it's a deal breaker in terms of taking it to the next step. Now, so I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of info about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader.